Hello grade 2, this is your teacher Mr. Muhammad. I hope you all are okay. Look at this picture. I have one pizza here. And you can write one in two forms, the letters form or the digits form, exactly like this. I am sure you understand that. But what if I divide this pizza into two equal parts? And I want to speak about this part only. Someone can say, Mister, this is half. Of course, I agree with you. But the question here, I want to write half in mathematics. As we know, everything in mathematics has a sample. For example, in mathematical statements, I don't write plus as a word. I don't write plus, of course. I write it as a sample, which is this symbol. So, how can I write half in mathematics grade 2? This is our lesson today. To represent parts, we have a new type of numbers is called fractions. And to write fractions grade 2, do as follows. Draw a line, exactly like this line. And the name of this line is fraction part. And any fraction has top number and bottom number. Your teacher all the time would rather to start with the bottom number. The bottom number is representing the total number of parts, which is 2, so write 2 in the bottom number. And the top number is number of colored parts, which is 1. Remember that the top number is called numerator and the bottom number is called denominator. Look at this picture. I want to represent the colored part. Draw a fraction part. The bottom number here, number of total parts, which is 3. So write 3 in the denominator. Number of colored part is 1, so write 1 in the numerator. So I have a new fraction which is third. In the next picture, I divided the circle into 4 equal parts. To represent the colored part, draw a fraction part and the denominator here is 4, the total number of parts. Number of colored parts here is 1, so write 1 in the numerator. So I have a new fraction which is fourth. As we said before, the colored part here is representing half. To write half, write 1 in the top number and 2 in the bottom number. And it's read as 1 half. The next picture I colored the two parts here. To represent the colored part, draw a fraction part and start with the denominator. Number of total parts here is 2, so write 2 in the bottom number. And number of colored parts here is 2, so write 2 in the top number. As we said before, the colored parts here is third, 1 over 3. And it's read as 1/3. But what if I color two parts as this picture? Draw a fraction part. The total number of parts here is 3, so write 3 in the denominator. And the top number here is 2, number of colored parts, and it's read as 2/3. In the next picture, I colored the 3 parts here. To represent the colored part, draw a fraction part. Start with the denominator, total number of parts here, which is 3, and the numerator, number of colored parts, which is 3, and it's read as 3/3. As we said before, this is 1/4. Look at the next picture. I colored two parts. To represent this fraction, draw fraction part. Start with the denominator, which is 4, and the numerator here is 2, and it's read as 2/4. And if I color the 3 parts grade 2 to represent this fraction, draw fraction part, start with the denominator, the total number of parts here, which is 4, and the top number here is 3, and it's read as 3/4. The last picture. To represent this fraction, start with the denominator, total number of parts, which is 4, and the numerator is number of colored parts, which is 4, so I have 4/4.